We're about 7 miles offshore now, and it's only when you start to get close you realise the sheer scale of this project. Had some great emails in about this. It always gets people going, doesn't it? Energy stories. Kenneth Armitage says the energy that wind farms might produce will not be enough to meet the shortfall in supplies because we're closing down on the power stations. They're being forced to close. I love this one. Mark Joseph says, I'm in Dumfries and Galloway. We're completely surrounded by wind farms. I can see 4 wind farms within 6 miles of my home. There's a lot in Scotland because it's very windy up there. I used to be an advocate, but Scotland will soon look like a porcupine. Surely it's not the only route to renewable energy. It's all controversial, it's all costly, but the government has decided offshore wind is the way forward for Britain.
Okay, Richard, thanks very much. Richard Westcott there in Kent.
This is a 949 bus, like you say, reaching retirement age. She's done about 1 million miles, according to the driver, Will. All of them at a maximum of 38 miles an hour. What a time to retire at the moment, though. Obviously, pension pots dropping down, people's houses worth less, everyone getting pretty worried. We're going to be looking at some of these issues in a few minutes' time. But before that, we'll stop, OK? Health and safety, Will. I think we're going to stop now. Before that, I've been to Malaga to talk to a couple who've swapped Spain for this view here in Cumbria because the pound dropped and they just couldn't afford to live there anymore. Talk to James now. He's obviously just spent 2 days in this military deep freeze. James, it's a stupid question, but how does it feel? One final thing, look, they must be clever, meerkats. They're giving a talk at 2 p.m.
Very good.
There's 2 things different about this console. The first one is the way you play it. There's no fiddly buttons. You move the players by waving around these special wands. The second thing is the kind of person Nintendo wants to play it.
Wow! It's a wonder there's still a fleet air arm at all. In the 1980s, defence cats had left it fighting for its life. And then something happened that turned the whole thing on its head. Oh, God.
I've been talking to this lot about the piece to camera. That's the part of the film where the reporter looks straight into the lens and makes a key point. Sometimes they stand up, walk across somewhere and reveal something. Sometimes they walk out of shot for dramatic effect or walk straight back in again.
Morning, Richard.
Good morning. In all the years I've been reporting, I think this is the most intimidating thing I've ever had to do. I went underground with these guys, they're amateurs who are desperately trying to join up this system. They spent decades on this work. Now, to start the cave, when you actually go down, you go down a manhole cover down there. Here's what happened.
A famous mountaineer was asked, sort of, why do you do it? And he said, because it's there. And I think the caver's version of that is, why do you do it? And he said, because it might be there.
It's a good place for a tea break.
And it's very good for that as well.
And there's Andy down there. So hello.
Hi.
I can't quite believe I'm doing this. I really don't like tight spaces.
Oh, it's been dug out.
It's not just the narrowness of the gaps, it's the mud as well. And to think all of this was underwater once, and there are cave divers who explore places like this underwater. Can you imagine? This is just good old-fashioned British amateur exploration, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, it boils down to that. Yeah, it's Heath Robinson. It's amateurish in its nature, but also it's really serious. I mean, there's lots of risks involved in this.
40 years ago, one in Cumbria, they thought there was nothing else to find. And since that time, we've linked Lancashire up with Cumbria, Lancashire also up with Yorkshire, which was the impossible link. And this link should be a bit easier in a way. And you'd have the impossible dream of 3 counties linked up. Lights off, guys.
Lights off. Oh dear. Right, well, Tim, as they say, I've had a great day, but this is as far as I go. You're going off just another few metres or so, aren't you? Right to the actual digging face.
Another 30 metres from here to the bitter end.
I mean, that really does look too tight for me.
It is disgusting.
Good luck.
For some reason, we love it.
You're just going to leave me here, are you? Look at that. That is unbelievable. I can't do that.
Just in front of me, some 20 metres away through these rocks, is the other end in Lost John's Cave. We can feel the draft coming through quite strongly. You might see some of the steam moving. And we know we've connected the two ends together because we've set joss sticks off in the other end, and the smoke and the musky cedarwood smell has come powering through here. So we know the two are connected. It's just a question of moving through all these boulders.
They're hoping to make the big breakthrough in weeks, but you've seen what they're up against. It could take much longer.